Captain Alex Mercer had seen many worlds before, but Virelia was unlike anything he had ever encountered. From the moment his ship descended through the thin violet clouds, he felt a strange mixture of awe and unease. The planet stretched endlessly, with forests of towering trees that shimmered like glass and rivers that glowed faintly with an inner light. There were no signs of human life. No cities. No machinery. Nothing that spoke of civilization, yet something about this world made Alex feel that he was not alone. He stepped out of his ship, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, bioluminescent moss that carpeted the ground. The air was breathable, though it carried a faint, metallic tang. He activated his exploration sensors, scanning for life forms or structural anomalies. Most of the readings were faint, almost imperceptible. But one result caught his attention. A small energy signature about a kilometer away, emanating from a cluster of abandoned structures. Curiosity piqued. Alex adjusted his backpack and began walking. The structures were peculiar, built from a pale, smooth material that reflected the glowing flora around them. They were small, delicate, and seemed abandoned for decades. Yet, there was an order to the placement of the buildings, almost as if someone had carefully arranged them to serve a purpose. Walls bore strange markings, symbols etched deeply into the surface that pulsed faintly under Alex's scanner. He crouched to examine one symbol closely. It resembled a circle broken into segments, with tiny lines radiating outward. It reminded him of a star map, or perhaps some kind of language. He could not decipher it yet, but he felt a growing sense that these symbols were more than decoration. They were messages, left by someone or something that wanted to be remembered. As the sun of Virelia dipped below the horizon, the forest's colors shifted. Shadows grew long, stretching across the ground in strange, twisting patterns. The bioluminescent plants brightened, giving the forest an ethereal glow, but the structures ahead were still dark and silent. Alex's heart beat faster. He had explored abandoned settlements before, but something about this one made him cautious. He raised his hand to knock on the nearest building, but before he could, a soft glow appeared at the far end of the clearing. Alex froze. The glow was faint at first, like the gentle shimmer of a firefly, but it grew steadily brighter. He blinked, and his eyes widened in disbelief. A small figure stepped out from the shadows, a girl, humanoid in shape but unlike any human he had ever seen. Her skin had a subtle metallic sheen, and her hair seemed to float slightly, as if caught in an unseen current. Most striking were her eyes. They glowed softly, a bright, pulsating light that seemed to pierce the dark. Alex instinctively raised his hands, unsure if she was friend or foe. The girl did not speak. She did not move aggressively. She simply watched him with those glowing eyes, tilting her head, as if assessing him. Every instinct he had told him to retreat. Yet he could not tear his gaze away. There was intelligence in her eyes, curiosity, and something else, an unspoken warning. "Hello?" Alex's voice sounded small and fragile against the vast silence of the clearing. The girl did not respond. Instead, she began to move slowly, almost floating, deeper into the settlement. Her glow brightened with every step, illuminating narrow pathways and revealing structures hidden in the darkness. Alex hesitated, then followed, unsure whether he was being led or trapped. The buildings were unlike anything he had seen. Doors slid open silently as they approached, revealing rooms filled with delicate machinery, screens that flickered faintly with unreadable symbols, and shelves lined with objects that seemed both organic and mechanical. Alex's mind raced. This civilization had clearly mastered technology far beyond human understanding, yet everything was abandoned. Where had these people gone, and why had they left behind a single child to guard their secrets? As they moved, Alex noticed the girl's glow responding to his movements. When he paused, her eyes dimmed slightly. When he moved too quickly, the glow intensified, almost like a heartbeat. It was as if she were guiding him, controlling the environment around them. He realized then that she was not merely a passive observer, she was part of the settlement, connected to it in ways he could not yet comprehend. Suddenly, the lights throughout the settlement flickered. Panels that had been dormant sprang to life briefly, casting eerie shadows across the walls. Then, as quickly as it had come, all light vanished. The settlement was plunged into darkness. Alex froze, his pulse hammering in his ears. The only source of illumination now was the girl's eyes, bright beacons cutting through the black. He could hear movement around him, subtle rustlings and whispers in the shadows. Alex gripped his utility knife, feeling its reassuring weight in his hand. The girl stepped forward, her glow intensifying to guide him. She paused at a narrow passageway, turned to look at him, and tilted her head. Alex nodded. Understanding that he was expected to follow, they moved cautiously through the dark, the girl's light revealing traps and hazards that Alex could not have seen with his own eyes. Thin wires stretched across the floor, small pressure plates hidden beneath the moss, delicate panels that triggered mechanisms when disturbed. He realized that the settlement had been designed not just to function but to protect something that was still dangerous, even in the absence of its creators. Hours seemed to pass in the darkness. Alex's mind struggled to process everything he saw. Alien architecture, symbols that pulsed with faint energy, and the girl, who seemed both fragile and powerful at the same time. He began to understand that she was more than a child. She was a guardian, chosen to protect the secrets of her people. At one point, she stopped in front of a small chamber. Her glow brightened dramatically, illuminating the room's interior. Alex could see a pedestal in the center, on which rested a device of intricate design. It pulsed with faint energy, wires and conduits running like veins through the room. He felt a rush of excitement mixed with fear. This must be what she had been protecting. Before he could take another step, a low growl echoed through the chamber. Alex froze. In the corner of the room, shadows shifted, and he could just make out the shape of a creature. It was large, with long limbs and glowing eyes that mirrored his own shock. It moved silently, but with deadly intent, circling the room like a predator stalking its prey. The girl's glow flared, bright and intense, illuminating the creature fully. Alex saw that it was alien, but unlike the girl, it was terrifying in form and purpose. It lunged suddenly, forcing him to duck and roll behind the pedestal. The girl moved with him, her eyes fixed on the creature, her light pulsing in a rhythm that seemed almost like a command. Alex realized then that she was not just a guide, she was a weapon. The glow from her eyes interacted with the environment, triggering mechanisms, locking doors, and even creating temporary barriers that slowed the predator. Using her, he navigated the chamber, avoiding the creature's deadly strikes. Finally, the creature paused, momentarily confused by the girl's light. Alex seized the moment, pushing the device from the pedestal. It responded immediately, glowing with energy and emitting a soft hum. The creature hissed and retreated into the shadows, unwilling to approach the artifact. The girl's glow dimmed slightly, as if satisfied that the immediate danger had passed. Alex breathed heavily, his mind racing. He did not fully understand the device, nor the extent of her powers. But he realized something crucial. This girl, fragile and alone, was the key to the survival and legacy of her civilization. And now, by following her, he had become part of that story. As dawn approached, the first light of Virelia's sun began to pierce the horizon, casting long, colorful shadows across the settlement. The girl's glow dimmed gradually, blending with the natural light. Alex watched her carefully, realizing that she would soon vanish into the forests, leaving him alone once more. Yet he felt no fear. He felt awe, respect, and a deep curiosity about the world around him. He knew that this encounter was only the beginning. There were mysteries to unravel, dangers to face, and lessons to learn from a civilization far older and wiser than humanity. And as he stepped out of the chamber, following the girl's fading light, Alex Mercer understood that the universe had just opened a new chapter for him, one that would challenge everything he thought he knew about life, intelligence, and the bonds that could form across species. The human had seen the alien girl's eyes glow just before the lights went out. And in that moment, he had glimpsed a future filled with wonder, danger, and hope. The sun had barely risen over the horizon, yet the forest of Virilia was already alive with colors and faint, ethereal light. Captain Alex Mercer moved cautiously through the alien settlement, his eyes adjusting to the soft glow of the bioluminescent plants. The girl had vanished into the shadows after guiding him through the chamber with the mysterious device. But her presence lingered. Like a memory of light that refused to fade, he could feel that she was still near, watching him, waiting for him to understand her world. Alex picked up the device from the pedestal, cradling it carefully. It hummed with a gentle energy, pulses that matched a rhythm he could not yet comprehend. The symbols on its surface flickered faintly, reflecting the alien language etched into the walls around him. He had no idea how to operate it, but instinct told him that it was important, more than a simple artifact. It seemed alive, responsive, almost as if it had a mind of its own. The settlement stretched before him, a labyrinth of narrow pathways, abandoned homes, and strange machinery. He noticed more of the symbols on the walls, each glowing faintly in the morning light. Alex crouched to examine them, careful not to touch anything directly. The symbols seemed to shift subtly when he focused on them, forming patterns that suggested movement, energy, or perhaps instructions. He wished he had a translator, a codebreaker. Anything to make sense of the alien language. A sudden sound made him freeze. Leaves rustled, though there was no wind. Shadows shifted in the corner of his vision. His heart raced. Then, from behind a collapsed archway, the girl appeared. Her eyes glowed softly, guiding him again. This time, she did not speak or gesture. Instead, she led him down a narrow corridor between two tall buildings. Alex followed silently, knowing better than to rush or disturb her. He felt that she understood more than he could ever know, that her glow was both a guide and a warning. The corridor opened into a larger space, a courtyard filled with strange plants that swayed without wind. The ground pulsed faintly beneath their feet, as if the settlement itself had a heartbeat. Alex noticed more of the predators lurking in the shadows, creatures similar to the one from the previous night. They were cautious, watching from a distance, clearly aware of the girl's presence. Her glow brightened briefly when they approached, warning Alex to stay close. Alex realized that the girl's eyes were more than a light source. They interacted with the settlement itself, illuminating hidden pathways, activating mechanisms, and even deterring the predators. He tried to study her, wondering how a single being could hold such power. She was small, fragile in appearance. Yet she commanded respect without speaking a word. Her presence made him both curious and cautious, and he could not shake the feeling that she was testing him. They reached a building that was different from the rest. It was taller, more intricate, with an entrance that looked like it had been sealed for centuries. The girl's glow intensified as they approached, and Alex could see patterns etched into the walls that seemed to shimmer in response. He reached out to touch one, and the wall pulsed under his fingers. The symbols shifted again, opening a doorway that led into darkness. Inside, the air was cooler, and the faint hum of machinery filled the space. Alex's scanner picked up faint energy readings, waves of power he had never encountered before. The girl led him to a central chamber, where a large console stood, covered in symbols and holographic projections. The device he carried pulsed in response, connecting to the console without wires, as if it recognized its counterpart. Suddenly, the room came alive with light. Holographic images flickered into existence, forming three-dimensional projections of the planet, its landscapes, and its people. Alex watched in awe as the story of Virilia unfolded before him. Cities floated in the sky, connected by glowing bridges. People moved gracefully, humanoid but with subtle differences, longer limbs, eyes that glowed faintly, and skin that shimmered like the girl's. He realized that this civilization had been advanced beyond anything humans had achieved, yet it was gone, leaving only the girl behind. Alex felt a pang of sadness. These people had clearly faced a disaster, and the girl was the last of her kind. He wanted to speak, to comfort her, but she did not seem to need words. Her eyes pulsed gently, guiding him to a section of the console that showed energy grids, resource flows, and defense systems. He realized that the settlement was not just a home, it was a fortress, designed to protect knowledge, technology, and life itself. The girl moved to a corner of the chamber and touched a panel. The energy readings shifted, revealing hidden rooms and passageways that Alex had not seen. He understood that she was showing him something important, something that could not be revealed without her. It was a map of the settlement's defenses and the locations of its most valuable resources. He realized that the girl's purpose was not just survival, she was a guardian, protecting her civilization's legacy from anyone who might misuse it. As they explored, Alex began to notice patterns in the girl's behavior. She reacted to danger instinctively, her glow intensifying when predators were near and dimming when the area was safe. She seemed to communicate with the settlement itself, activating doors, hiding passages, and creating safe paths through the darkness. Alex marveled at her intelligence and the way she integrated with her environment. She was not just an individual, she was part of a system, a living interface that bridged the gap between biology and technology. Hours passed, and the settlement became more complex the deeper they explored. They reached a section where the ground was cracked and uneven, with glowing fissures running through it. Alex saw movement in the shadows, more predators, larger than the one from the previous night. They were drawn to energy, to movement, and to life itself. The girl's glow intensified, pulsing rhythmically as she led Alex across the dangerous terrain. A predator lunged from the shadows, faster and stronger than any he had faced before. Alex barely had time to react, ducking behind a rock as it passed. The girl's glow flared, creating a barrier of light that pushed the creature back. Alex realized that she was not only guiding him, she was defending him. Her eyes were a weapon, a shield, and a beacon all at once. He felt a mix of fear and admiration. Here was a being smaller than him, appearing fragile, yet capable of controlling the environment, manipulating energy, and facing predators with courage and precision. He knew that humanity could learn from her, that her abilities represented knowledge and technology far beyond human understanding. Yet he also knew that she was not a tool to be taken. She was a guardian, and her trust had to be earned. As they reached a plateau overlooking the settlement, the girl stopped and looked out over the forest. Her glow softened, and Alex could see her gaze fixed on something in the distance. He followed her eyes and saw a faint plume of smoke rising from the far end of the forest. It was subtle, almost invisible, but it suggested activity, perhaps another survivor, or another threat. The girl's eyes pulsed rapidly, and Alex realized that she wanted him to follow. They moved carefully, staying low and silent. The forest around them seemed alive, watching, reacting to their presence. Plants shifted subtly, and the ground pulsed faintly beneath their feet. Alex felt as if he were walking through a living organism, guided by the girl's light. Every step was a lesson in patience, observation, and respect for the world around him. They reached a clearing where the smoke originated, and Alex saw the remnants of a small fire. There were signs that someone or something had been there recently. Footprints in the soft moss suggested a creature similar to the predators they had encountered, but smaller, more cautious. The girl's eyes glowed brightly, signaling danger. Alex knew that they were not alone, and that the forest held more threats than he had imagined. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the shadows. The predators were close, drawn by the scent of life and the energy of the device Alex carried. He felt a surge of adrenaline, but he did not panic. The girl stepped forward, her glow intensifying, and Alex followed her lead. She moved gracefully, guiding him through the clearing, avoiding traps, and creating illusions of light that confused the predators. He realized that survival here required more than skill. It required understanding, trust, and a willingness to work with the unknown. The girl had taught him that lesson silently, through her actions, her light, and the way she integrated with her world. Alex felt a deep respect for her, and a growing determination to protect her and the knowledge she carried. As night fell again, the forest around them pulsed with a soft, eerie light. The girl led Alex to a hidden chamber, safer than any place he had seen before. Inside, The walls were lined with more symbols, more holographic projections, and intricate machinery that seemed almost alive. Alex set down the device, examining the room and trying to make sense of the technology. The girl sat nearby, her glow dim but steady, watching him carefully. Alex realized that she was assessing him, testing his intentions. He nodded to her silently, promising to respect her world, to learn without taking, to protect without harming. She tilted her head, a subtle gesture that seemed almost like approval. Alex felt a sense of awe and responsibility. He was no longer just an explorer. He was a witness, a student, and perhaps, in some small way, an ally. The forest outside was alive with dangers he had not yet faced, but he knew that with the girl's guidance, he could navigate it. Together, they were a team, human ingenuity and alien instinct. Learning from each other, surviving together, and uncovering the secrets of a civilization lost to time. Hours turned into the night, and Alex watched the girl's eyes glow softly in the darkness. He wondered about her past, her people, and the events that had led her to be the last guardian of Virelia. He knew that their journey was only beginning, that the mysteries of this planet would challenge him, test him, and perhaps change the way humanity viewed the universe. For now, he rested beside her, careful not to disturb the delicate balance of her world. The glow of her eyes was a reminder of the fragility and strength of life, of the responsibility that came with knowledge, and of the bond that could form between beings from different worlds. Alex understood that he had been given a rare opportunity to witness, to learn, and to respect. The human and the alien girl remained there through the night, silent yet connected. Two beings from different worlds, united by curiosity, trust, and the shared need to survive. And as the first light of dawn touched the trees of Virelia, Alex Mercer knew that he had glimpsed something extraordinary, something that would shape his future, humanity's future, and the legacy of the lost civilization of Virelia. The morning light filtered through the tall, shimmering trees of Virelia, casting elongated shadows across the soft moss beneath Alex Mercer's feet. The air was crisp, carrying the faint hum of the forest, alive with creatures that scurried unseen and plants that glowed faintly in the soft light. Alex had slept little, his mind filled with the mysteries he had glimpsed the night before. The alien girl, the glowing device, and the holographic projections of a lost civilization all occupied his thoughts. He had learned much, but he knew the real challenge was just beginning. The girl waited silently outside the chamber as Alex rose, her eyes dim but steady. They communicated without words, a silent understanding passing between them. He picked up the device, which pulsed gently in response to his touch, and followed her down a narrow path hidden among the towering trees. She moved with purpose, guiding him toward a section of the settlement that he had not yet explored. Each step seemed measured, deliberate, and Alex felt that she was leading him to something crucial. The path widened into a plaza-like area, surrounded by towering structures that shimmered faintly in the morning light. Alex noticed that the buildings here were more complex, with intricate patterns etched into their walls and energy conduits running like veins along their surfaces. The girl paused in the center, and he could see her glow intensifying slightly. He knew that she was signaling the importance of this place, that it held knowledge or technology vital to understanding her civilization. He stepped closer, examining the walls, and noticed that the symbols seemed to shift when he looked directly at them. Some formed recognizable shapes, triangles, circles, lines, but others pulsed in ways that suggested movement or function. Alex felt a thrill of discovery. This was a language of power and knowledge, a system designed to preserve intelligence beyond the reach of time. He tried to make sense of it, to find a pattern that would unlock its meaning, but it was far beyond anything he had seen before. The girl led him to a structure that rose taller than the others, almost like a spire, with a wide entrance that opened automatically as she approached. Inside, the air was cool and filled with the faint hum of energy. The walls glowed with symbols that shifted and pulsed, responding to her presence. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. This place was alive with technology, a living archive of her people's knowledge. At the center of the room stood a large console, similar to the one in the chamber they had explored before, but far more complex. Holographic projections shimmered above it, forming three-dimensional images of cities, landscapes, and beings that seemed almost human, but were distinctly alien. Alex stared in awe. He realized that the girl had not only survived her civilization's collapse, but had also become the living key to its knowledge. As he studied the projections, he began to understand the story of Virelia. Once a thriving world, it had been home to a civilization that had mastered energy, biology, and technology in ways humans could barely imagine. They had built cities that floated above the ground, harnessed natural energy sources, and created a network of knowledge designed to survive any catastrophe. But disaster had struck. An energy storm of immense power had devastated the planet, destroying most life and leaving only fragments behind. The girl moved closer to the console, touching symbols with her fingers. The hologram shifted, highlighting certain areas of the planet and revealing the paths of the storm. Alex watched, fascinated, as she seemed to manipulate the projections with her eyes and gestures. He realized that her glowing eyes were more than a source of light. They were an interface, capable of interacting directly with the technology of her civilization. Suddenly, a series of alarms echoed through the chamber, low and urgent. Alex turned sharply, and the girl's glow intensified, signaling immediate danger. He saw movement at the edges of the room, predators, larger and more numerous than any they had encountered before. Drawn by the energy of the console and the device in his hands, the girl's eyes pulsed rapidly, creating barriers of light that blocked the creature's advance. Alex understood that he had to act quickly, using both his human instincts and her guidance. He moved cautiously, trying not to alarm the predators, but they advanced relentlessly, drawn by energy and motion. The girl's glow flared, and the room responded. Doors slid shut, panels activated, and temporary barriers of light formed paths for them to escape. Alex followed her movements, realizing that she was teaching him to navigate this world safely, to work in harmony with her abilities rather than against them. As they maneuvered through the chamber, Alex glimpsed more of the civilization's technology. Devices that could manipulate energy, store knowledge, and even control aspects of the environment were everywhere. He was struck by the sophistication and elegance of it all, but he also felt a profound sense of responsibility. The girl had survived alone, guarding this knowledge, and he understood that any misuse could be catastrophic. Humanity might one day encounter this technology, but it had to be approached with respect and caution. They reached a side passage that led to a hidden room. The girl's glow dimmed slightly as they entered, and Alex could see why. The room contained holographic records of her people, images of families, scientists, and children, all captured in moments of life before the storm. It was a haunting sight, the memory of a civilization frozen in time. Alex felt a deep sadness for them, but also admiration for their achievements. They had created something that endured even after death, and the girl was the living bridge between past and future. He knelt beside the projections, studying them closely. The girl's eyes glowed gently, and he sensed her presence as a guide, a protector, and a teacher. She moved closer to the console, touching symbols that activated new holograms. Alex watched in awe as she demonstrated the energy flows of the planet, showing how her people had harnessed it to build cities, grow food, and sustain life. He realized that this knowledge could transform humanity if applied responsibly, but he also knew it was fragile and needed protection. Hours passed as they explored the hidden chambers, each room revealing new insights into the lost civilization. Alex learned about their biology, their technology, and their philosophy. He saw that the people of Virelia had valued balance, harmony, and knowledge above all else. They had built safeguards to ensure that their power could not be misused, and the girl was the last line of defense. Alex understood that he was not merely a visitor, he was now part of their story, entrusted with their legacy in a way he could not yet fully comprehend. As night fell, the predators returned, more aggressive and cunning than before. Alex and the girl moved cautiously through the settlement, her glow illuminating safe paths and warning of danger. They encountered a group of predators near the central plaza, their eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. The girl's light flared, creating barriers and confusing the creatures. Alex realized that her abilities were more versatile than he had imagined. She could control the environment, manipulate energy, and protect herself and him with precision. In a daring move, Alex used his human ingenuity to complement her powers. He triggered a series of mechanisms that had been hidden in the walls, creating distractions and pathways that allowed them to escape. The girl followed his lead, her glow adjusting to guide him safely. Together, they navigated the dangers of the settlement. A team formed by necessity, trust, and mutual understanding. Finally, they reached a chamber at the edge of the forest. The girl's glow dimmed, signaling a temporary reprieve. Alex set the device down and examined the room. It was a control hub, filled with symbols and technology that could influence the settlement and perhaps even the broader environment of Virelia. He realized that this was the heart of her civilization's power, and that it was now in his presence, shared between him and the girl. He looked at her, eyes reflecting his own awe and respect. She watched him silently, her glow steady but gentle. Alex understood that she was testing him, assessing his intentions, and determining whether he could be trusted. He nodded slightly, a silent promise that he would protect the knowledge and respect the balance of her world. The girl tilted her head, a subtle gesture that seemed almost like approval, and Alex felt a deep sense of connection. The night passed with them remaining in the chamber, silent but vigilant. Outside, the forest pulsed with life. Predators prowled, and the wind carried the faint hum of the settlement's energy. Alex reflected on what he had learned. The girl's civilization had been lost, but their knowledge endured. He had glimpsed their achievements, their wisdom, and their caution, and he had learned that trust, understanding, and respect were the keys to survival in this alien world. As dawn approached, the first light of Virelia touched the settlement, illuminating the buildings, the forest, and the soft glow of the moss. The girl's eyes dimmed to a gentle light, blending with the natural colors of the world. Alex felt a profound sense of responsibility. He had witnessed something extraordinary, something that could shape the future of humanity if approached with care. But more than that, he had learned the value of guardianship, the importance of balance, and the power of trust between beings of different worlds. The girl moved to the center of the chamber, her glow pulsing faintly. Alex watched her, understanding that their journey was far from over. There were more mysteries to uncover, more dangers to face, and more knowledge to protect. But he also knew that he had a companion, a guide, and a teacher in this alien world. Together, they could navigate the challenges ahead, uncover the secrets of Virelia, and perhaps even shape the destiny of two civilizations, one lost and one just beginning to learn. Alex Mercer took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery. He knew that the universe was vast, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. And in the glow of the alien girl's eyes, he had found a beacon of hope, guidance, and friendship that transcended species, language, and worlds. He understood that this was only the beginning. The settlement still held countless secrets. The forest still teemed with unknown life, and the girl's powers were far beyond his understanding. But he was ready. With courage, intelligence, and trust, he could face whatever challenges awaited. And with the alien girl by his side, guiding him, protecting him, and teaching him, he knew that they could survive, uncover the truth, and honor the legacy of a civilization that had once shone brightly across the stars. The forest of Virelia stretched endlessly before Alex Mercer, glowing softly under the light of the twin moons. He had come far with the alien girl, uncovering the secrets of her lost civilization, learning to trust her instincts, and surviving predators that roamed the darkness. Yet, he felt a sense of unease. The settlement had many hidden chambers, many unknown mechanisms, and beyond them lurked dangers that had not yet revealed themselves. The girl's glow pulsed faintly, a silent warning that their journey was approaching its most perilous stage. Alex tightened the straps of his backpack, feeling the weight of the device that had guided them so far. It pulsed gently, synchronized with the girl's glowing eyes. He realized that it was not just a tool, it was a key to technology and knowledge that could reshape the future. Yet, he understood the responsibility it carried. He was a human, a visitor from another world, and he had to ensure that this power was not misused. The girl led him deeper into the forest, moving gracefully among the towering, shimmering trees. The moss beneath their feet pulsed faintly, responding to her presence. Alex noticed more signs of life, small creatures darting in the shadows, glowing plants that swayed gently, and faint tracks of predators they had encountered before. The forest was alive, aware, and even dangerous. But under the girl's guidance, it became navigable. They reached a clearing where the ground sank into a shallow valley. At its center was a massive structure, unlike anything Alex had seen. It rose like a spire from the forest floor, covered in intricate carvings and symbols that glowed faintly in response to the girl's eyes. Energy flowed through conduits that crisscrossed the structure, humming softly like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Alex realized that this was the central hub, the heart of Virelia's civilization, where the greatest knowledge and power were stored. As they approached, a low growl echoed through the valley. Alex froze. Shadows moved along the edges of the clearing. Predators, larger and more aggressive than any before, they had been drawn by the energy of the structure, the glowing of the girl's eyes, and the pulse of the device. Alex's pulse quickened. He had faced them before, but never so many at once, and never with stakes this high. The girl's glow flared brightly, illuminating the valley and revealing paths between the trees and rocks. She moved with purpose, guiding Alex along safe routes and creating temporary barriers that slowed the predators. Alex followed her, using his human ingenuity to complement her abilities. He triggered mechanisms along the path, activating energy barriers and traps that confused the creatures and gave them precious seconds to advance. They reached the base of the structure, and the girl touched a symbol etched into the wall. The entire spire pulsed with energy, activating panels and doors that revealed a spiral staircase leading upwards. Alex felt a mixture of awe and fear. He knew that the top of this structure would hold the greatest secrets and the greatest dangers. The girl's glow intensified, signaling that he must follow carefully. They ascended the staircase, each step echoing softly. The walls were lined with symbols that shifted in response to the girl's presence, creating a luminous path that guided them. Alex felt as if the entire structure were alive, aware of their movement and responding to their intentions. He realized that this civilization had built more than technology. They had built a living system, a symbiosis of life and energy, designed to endure even in the face of disaster. At the top of the spire, they entered a massive chamber filled with holographic projections. The device Alex carried pulsed strongly, connecting with the technology of the spire. The girl's glow flared, and the holograms formed images of her people, their cities, and the energy flows that sustained them. Alex could see the full extent of their civilization's achievements: floating cities, energy networks, advanced biology, and mechanisms designed to protect knowledge and life. Suddenly, a deep rumble shook the chamber. The shadows moved, and Alex saw the predators advancing, larger and faster than before. They had learned, adapting to their previous encounters, and now they attacked with relentless determination. Alex and the girl moved quickly, weaving between the projections, using her glow to create barriers and confuse the predators. He realized that this final confrontation would require all their skill, intelligence, and trust. Alex spotted a control panel and activated it. Energy surged through the floor, creating barriers and altering the environment. The predators hesitated, giving him and the girl a chance to reposition. The girl's glow intensified further, her eyes pulsing rhythmically, and Alex realized that she was channeling energy through the structure itself. The walls responded, shifting panels and opening new pathways that blocked the predators and guided them toward safety. Despite the chaos, Alex remained focused. He understood that this was not just a battle for survival, it was a test of cooperation, of trust, and of understanding. He used his knowledge of human strategy and quick thinking to anticipate the predator's movements, setting traps and creating distractions. The girl responded instantly, her glow adjusting to guide him and manipulate the environment. Together, they moved as a single unit, blending instinct and intellect, human and alien. The battle continued, relentless and intense. Predators lunged from the shadows, their claws and teeth snapping. But Alex and the girl were always one step ahead. They used the structure's energy, their combined wits, and the girl's glowing power to outmaneuver the creatures. Each time a predator fell or retreated, Alex felt a surge of relief and respect for the girl's abilities. She was small, fragile in appearance, yet immensely powerful and wise. Finally, they reached the central control chamber at the heart of the spire. The girl touched a panel, and the energy of the structure surged, creating a barrier that sealed the chamber. The predators were trapped outside, unable to reach them. Alex caught his breath. Realizing that they had survived the most dangerous part of the journey, the girl's glow dimmed slightly, and she moved closer to him, her eyes reflecting relief and trust. Alex examined the central console. The holograms revealed the final secret of Virelia, a network of energy nodes that could restore the planet, rebuild ecosystems, and even recreate aspects of the civilization that had been lost. The girl's eyes connected with the console, pulsing in rhythm with the energy flows. Alex understood that she alone had the power to activate these systems, and that the decision was hers to make. He felt a deep respect for her autonomy. She was not a tool, nor an object to be used for human gain. She was a guardian, a living bridge between the past and the future. He had come seeking knowledge, but he had found something far more profound. A lesson in responsibility, trust, and the respect for life beyond his own species. The girl moved to the edge of the console and extended her hand. Energy flowed from her eyes into the system, activating nodes that had lain dormant for centuries. Holograms of the planet shifted, showing restoration, growth, and life returning to barren areas. Alex watched in awe as forests, rivers, and cities began to regenerate. It was a glimpse of what Virelia had once been and what it could be again. As the energy stabilized, the remaining predators outside the spire retreated. Sensing the power of the Guardian and the strength of the civilization's systems, the forest calmed, the glowing plants swayed gently, and the hum of the settlement returned to a steady, peaceful rhythm. Alex felt a profound sense of accomplishment, not for himself, but for the girl and the legacy she had preserved. He approached her cautiously, placing a hand near hers but not touching the console. The girl's eyes met his, glowing softly, and he understood her message. This was her world, her choice, and her responsibility. He nodded, a silent promise to respect her decision and protect the knowledge they had uncovered together. She tilted her head, a subtle gesture that spoke of trust, approval, and a bond that had formed between them. The sun began to rise, casting golden light across the restored forest. Alex and the girl stood together, overlooking the valley, the spire, and the settlement that had survived through her guidance. He realized that humanity might one day learn of Virelia, but it would be a future shaped by respect and understanding, not greed or exploitation. The girl's glow dimmed gradually, blending with the natural light of dawn, and she turned to disappear into the forest. Alex watched her go, feeling a mixture of awe, sadness, and hope. He had come seeking knowledge, but he had found friendship, guidance, and a profound lesson in the value of life and trust. The girl was the last guardian of a civilization lost to time, and he had been privileged to witness her courage, wisdom, and power. As he descended from the spire, carrying the device that had connected them, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had much to learn, and the universe held countless mysteries. But he had glimpsed something extraordinary, a world restored, a civilization honored, and the bond between human and alien that transcended species and worlds. He knew that he would return to his ship, report his findings, and continue his mission. But he also knew that Virelia and the girl had changed him. He had seen courage in the face of isolation, wisdom in the glow of her eyes, and the power of cooperation between beings from different worlds. It was a lesson he would carry for the rest of his life, a story of hope, trust, and the enduring strength of life. As the first light of day fully illuminated the forest, Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery. He had survived predators, navigated alien technology, and witnessed the restoration of a world. But most importantly, he had learned the true meaning of guardianship, trust, and respect for life. With a final glance at the girl's fading glow in the distance, he stepped toward his ship, ready to continue his journey among the stars. The human had seen the alien girl's eyes glow, faced the dangers of a lost civilization, and survived. And in doing so, he had glimpsed a future filled with wonder, hope, and the possibility of cooperation between worlds. Alex Mercer knew that he would never forget Virilia, the girl, or the lessons he had learned. The universe was vast, full of unknowns and dangers, but also filled with allies, wisdom, and light. And as he lifted off, leaving the restored forest behind, he carried with him not just knowledge, but the memory of a glowing pair of eyes that had guided him through darkness, taught him courage, and shown him the true meaning of hope.